Hello, my dear students. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, great.
Okay. I hope that everything's fine and that you have prepared yourself for the quiz and that everything's fine. Right? Okay. Are you able to see the screen now in front of you? Just let me check. Yes. Are you able to see the book? Our book, Progressive Skills in English. Just give me a hint that you can see the book.
We have a book on the screen.
Clear. Yes, okay. We're going to go to, today we're going to discuss theme 3. Okay. I will start with the part which is related to grammar. And as I told you, if you want to study grammar in a good way, you need to study from your book, the grammar reference part, as well as to practice inside the theme itself. Okay, so you are going to open the book page. This is theme 3. Our focus today, theme 3, news and media, from your book page 71. If you want to revise or to study all the grammatical features, everything related to grammar, related to theme 3, we are going to open the book page 177. So we're going to go now to page 177. Okay, I'm moving to page 177 here. Okay, theme 3, the part which is related to grammar. Okay, here, are you able to see it now? Theme 3, very and to plus adjective. You're going to understand the difference between very and to followed by an adjective. Of course, this difference is related to meaning. What is the difference from the point of view of meaning? When I say, for example,
what is the page number, Victoria?
177. Here, you can see it, 177. Okay? So, the first thing is that we're going to understand the difference between very and to plus an adjective if we want to understand it from the point of view of meaning. For example, when I say, this television is very expensive, is followed by very and then the adjective expensive. The adverb very and then the adjective expensive. What is the difference between this television is very expensive, okay, the first one, and the second one, this television is too expensive? When I say this television is very expensive, it means that it costs a lot of money. It's very expensive. It costs a lot of money. But when I say this television is too expensive, it means that it is too expensive for me to buy it. So this means that I cannot afford it. Okay? So are you able to understand the difference between them? In all cases, we are using adverb and then followed by the adjective. So this television is very expensive. It means it costs a lot of money from the point of view of meaning. But when I say this television is too expensive, this is from my point of view. It means that I cannot afford it.
Cannot pay any means?
Yes. It means that yes, exactly. Why? Simply because this is my opinion. This is my opinion related to it. It's too expensive. Okay, this is related to my opinion related to this. So I cannot afford it. It means that I cannot. The money is not enough with me to buy this television. Okay, so this is the difference between very and to. Again, this television is very.
But very also expensive.
Very expensive. You are referring to the money. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. Yes, this something is very interesting. Very, for example, very expensive. So you can say that it costs a lot of money, but when you say too expensive, it means that from your point of view, it means that you don't have money in order to buy it, or enough money in order to buy this television.
Too related to me,
Exactly. Related to you, to your opinion. An opinion about the amount. Exactly. So in all cases, we are using an adverb followed by an adjective. So very, it means a large amount of, but too, it means an opinion about the amount. An opinion. For example, this coffee is too hot to drink. What the meaning? It means that it's too hot for me in order to drink it. Okay, this is my opinion about it. So this means that I'm going to wait until it loses this kind of hot. Okay, or it's hot coffee. So yes, I think this is the first one. The difference between very and too plus an adjective. Just I need from you to understand that very if you are referring to a large amount, but too if you are referring to your opinion about the amount. We are using very and too plus an adjective because expensive is an adjective. Okay. The second rule is related to use too or enough plus noun. So here you can notice we have noun here. Jobs, noun, plural noun, money, advertisements, advertising. In all cases we are using noun. Now you will understand the difference between using too and enough. Too much or too many, okay? Advertising, it means that more than the correct quantity, and all of us know this, more than the correct quantity. Too much, that's too much. Even we say that it's too much. Okay? This means that what is important for me is to understand the meaning here. It means that more than the correct quantity. For example, if you are offering any example, if you have, for example, you're going to advertise using, for example, 10 advertisements, that's too much. This means that it is enough to advertise using only 5 advertising or advertisements. Okay, so more than the correct quantity. What about enough? Enough, it means enough jobs or not enough jobs. What the meaning of this? Less than the correct quantity. Less than, so too, it refers to more than the correct quantity. Not enough, it refers to less than the correct quantity. For example, if you have 10 candidates and you have 3 jobs, so you have not enough jobs for all of them. This means that less than the correct quantity. Okay? This is the difference.
Much and many is meaning to accounting this. You can account
exactly. Yes. We can use much, we can use many according to the type of the noun followed by it. Okay? Now we are moving to the notes. We can use to and enough plus noun to give an opinion about the quantity. We can use much with an uncountable noun. Here it is given, and many with countable nouns. So if you can read here, too many advertisements. Okay. So you need to focus also on this notes. Notes are really very important for us. Again, we can use too and enough plus noun to give an opinion about quantity. It's my opinion related to something, according from my point of view, according to my opinion. And we can use much with uncountable nouns and many with countable nouns. Preceded, of course, by too. Look at the example here. Too enough plus an adjective. Too or enough plus adjective. It is too cold. What the meaning of this? Too cold. It means too cold, short, warm, and so on. It means more than the correct quantity in the opinion of the speaker. The speaker, the one who is telling you the information or the piece of the information. Okay? not warm enough, not tall enough. What the meaning of this? It means less than the correct quantity, again, in the opinion of the speaker. We are using much with uncountable nouns and many with countable nouns. Okay, my dear students, so the main point here is that to understand that you are referring to the idea from the point of view of the opinion of the speaker, the one who is talking. This is theme 3, right? I'm going to give you an example now, or examples. Look at this, okay? We can use very or a lot to say a large amount. For example, this television is very expensive. What the meaning of this? It means that it costs a lot of money. On the other hand, we are using too and enough to give an opinion about the amount. For example, this television is too much money. Too much money. What the meaning of this? This means that I haven't got enough money to buy it. Don't forget that we are using too much plus uncountable noun. Give me an example of uncountable noun. I already gave you an example. Money. This is something uncountable. Okay? And we are using many with something which is, or with noun which is countable noun. For example, television, because I can count it. Television, televisions, and so on. Okay? Now we are moving to introducing phrases in statements. You want to introduce. What the meaning of introduce? Something introductory. Introductory phrase that you are using in order to give the statement. Where is the statement here? An advertising agency designed it. So you need to introduce this statement. So you can say, I think. The most important point here is to use that. I think that an advertising agency designed it. So where is the introductory phrase? I think. It should be followed by in writing. We are going to use that. I think that an advertising agency designed it. Okay? You have to note the notes here. We do not say I think the news is not very interesting. This is incorrect. Why? Because verbs like think, feel, believe can be followed by that, but in spoken English we usually don't say that. Okay? So you need to write that. This is in written English or written text, but in spoken we usually don't say that. So who is ready to read the examples in correct way? Introductory phrases and statements.
Yeah, can I read it?
Yes, my dear.
An advertising agency designed it.
Okay.
Like we use I think. And
yes,
we
I think
that. Yeah. We
exactly.
feel that there are too many advertisements on television.
Advertisements. What the meaning of advertisements?
Like posters.
Yes, advertisements. Yes.
About something in television or radio.
Yeah, well, yes, about the products, about, yes, right. Okay.
I don't think that the news is very interesting at the moment.
Okay.
We don't believe that newspapers are too expensive.
Okay, thank you so much. So the main point here is that you have a statement and you want to use introductory phrase for your statement. So put your introductory phrase plus that. So you can say, I think that, so as a speaker, we feel, if you are talking about something as a group, I don't think so, or I didn't think that the news, we don't believe. All of them are related to the speaker. We have something else which is related to introductory phrase in questions. Now we have questions, okay, with verb to be and with other verbs. So introductory phrases in questions can be divided into two parts, with verb to be and with other verbs. With verb to be, for example, do you think, this is the question, where is the statement here? It is a good advert. It means advertisement. Okay. Do you think it's a good advert? Verb to be is here. It is. It is a good advert. Do you think it's a good advert? Why do you think that? Are you able to see the word? Why do you think that ending is bad? It's talking about something ending. It's ending. Why do you think the ending is bad? Okay, so we are using verb to be here. Okay, no problem with this. With other verbs, do you think it works? Instead of saying, do you think it is good, or it is working, or using verb to be, we're going to use another verb. So, do you think it works? Why do you think people buy it? Okay, other verbs than verb to be. Now, this is really very, very important rule. This is the most important one actually in theme 3, which is if clause in first condition or first conditional. First conditional, and we are talking about if clause. Okay, this is related to theme 3. If clause, if, we're going to add if, and then we have the subject. This subject, maybe it is singular or plural, it's okay, followed by the verb, and then the extra information in the sentence, and then you are going to add comma, and then complete the sentence with the main clause, subject, modal, plus the verb, plus the extra information. Okay, we're going to have an example now. If children watch violent programs, comma, the children here, subject, plural, so they will copy the behavior. What the meaning of this? They will imitate violent programs, and they will imitate the violent behavior. So again, if the subject, we have two parts here. We have two clauses, right? We have two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. The if clause, we're going to have if, the conjunction here, if, and then the subject followed by the verb. In the present simple, okay, and then followed by comma, and then we are going to have the subject, modal plus the verb, and then you add the extra pieces of information. If children watch violent programs, comma, they will copy the behavior. So in if clause, you are going to have what? You are going to have the present simple, and then in the main clause, you are going to have modal plus infinitive. Will copy, might become, and there is a difference between will and might. You will understand the difference between them now. So if it's children watch the violent or watch violent programs, comma, they will copy the behavior. Okay, now look at that singular. If a child sees violence, so we add s simply because we are referring to the present simple. If a child sees violence, he or she might become violent. And we are following the rule. Don't forget the comma. If a child sees violence, comma, he or she might become violent. Okay? So if in first conditional of f here, we have if clause and main clause. The first conditional, we are going to use present simple. And then in the main clause, we are going to use the modal plus the infinitive. What is the difference between will and might? Will, if you are talking about something is certain, they will copy the behavior. If children watch violent programs, comma, they will copy the behavior. Will here, I'm certain. You think that this action is certain. Okay? If a child sees violence, comma, he or she might become violent. Might here, it refers to the action is possible. As a speaker, I think that this action is possible. Okay? So will, if you are certain, you think as a speaker that this action is certain, and might if you think as a speaker that this action is possible. Okay? Of course, we can invert them. We can start with this. Children will copy the behavior if they watch violent programs. What did I do now? I just converted them. I started with the main clause followed by the if clause. We can, instead of saying they, I can say children will copy the behavior if they watch violent programs. Who is able to give me the second example? Instead of if clause plus the main clause, we can change them to give me the main clause.
Again, can you explain what the difference will and meet?
Between will and might?
Yes.
Will? Yes. Okay. If children watch violent programs as a speaker, I'm telling you as a speaker, they will copy the behavior. I'm certain. Certain. The action is certain they will copy the behavior. But when I say if children watches violent programs, they might copy the behavior. Here I'm giving you the idea that this action is possible. It's something which is related to the degrees of certainty. In the first one, I'm certain, but in using might, this means that the action is possible. What do you mean of possible? What do you mean of possible?
Maybe or no. It's not sure. Or
possibility, yes. Something, yes. You are. This is related to the possibility of the action. Yes, right. Okay. Now we said that we can change them instead of starting with if clause. If you start with if clause, you must add the comma here. But if you convert them, for example, starting with the main clause and then followed by if clause, in this case, there is no need to add the comma. Look at the example. Children might become violent. There is no need to add comma here if they see violence. Yes.
دكتورة.
Who is talking? Yes.
أنا عندي اختبار بستأذن.
At which time exactly?
1 o'clock.
طيب, okay, my dear. What's your name? Give me your name. Fatima?
لا, ختمة.
Okay, Fatima. And your ID? You are here, yes? You are with us here, right?
دكتورة.
لا, KH ختمة.
You didn't write your name here, right? Where is your name? And where is the ID? Give me the ID. The ID?
I think 201. أيوة.
This is you. Okay. 201. Okay. The voice is not clear. طيب, okay, Khatma, you can leave. You can leave, my dear.
You need number or خلاص no need?
No need. No need. خلاص, I found you.
Okay, شكرا. Thank you.
You can leave. Okay.
لو سمحتك.
Yes.
عندي كمان اختبار عربي.
عبد الرحمن؟
ايوه عبد الرحيم.
عبد الرحمن. Okay, عبد الرحمن, you can leave.
نفس الشيء يا دكتور، أنا عندي اختبار عربي الآن برضه.
وأنا زي
So I'm going to explain.
والله.
Where is the student that I'm going to explain to? So just we need to finish this part, okay? We will finish this part related to first conditional and with pronouns and with possessive pronouns.
عادي يا دكتورة ما احنا
Just these, okay, just these parts that are related to grammar, okay? And then I will leave you, inshallah, in order to focus on your quizzes. The quiz for EL112, 11 is expected to be today, right? We have quiz for EL111 as well. Okay, so we can change them. Start with the main clause, followed by the if clause. Okay. Moving to the other part, referring back with pronouns and possessive adjectives. We can refer back to the subject, to the object, to the subject and the object. What is the meaning of subject? الفاعل. Okay? What is the meaning of the object? المفعول. The subject, the doer of the action. The object, the done to. اللي هو المفعول. Okay? The subject and the object, we can refer to both of them. Look at this example. Magazine publishers want to attract the right kind of reader. They So they here, this is a pronoun that we use in order to refer back to something related to a previous sentence. So we are referring back to magazine publishers instead of repeating. I'm not going to repeat it again and say magazine publisher, give their magazines very clear names. But I'm going to use pronouns in order to refer back to the subject, which is magazine publishers. Okay? We are going to do the same with the object. In 1881, a man called George Youmans published the first real magazine. Full stop. This is another sentence. He called it. So it here, this is a pronoun which refers back to the object, the first real magazine. Instead of repeating, he called, I'm not going to say he called the first real magazine. Okay, to avoid this kind of repetition, we are going to use pronouns in order to refer back to previous subject, object, or subject and object. The same, we are going to apply the same here with possessive adjectives. Magazine publishers want to attract the right kind of reader. They give their magazines possessive adjective related to this. Or the meaning of their magazine, it means the publishers of the magazines. The same here. The production of a magazine is paid by the advertising in the magazine and not by its sales. Its sales, it means the magazine sales or the sales of the magazine. I'm using here the possessive adjective. So I'm using this, the pronouns or the possessive adjectives, in order to refer back to something in the previous sentence. Okay? Mute yourself. Reference or percentages and quantifier. We are using this approximately 80% of the students. So here I'm referring to the percentage or percentages. 80% percentages here. Okay? And fractions. So approximately, what the meaning of approximately? 80%. It means that I'm not sure. تقريبي, approximately. Nearly 25% of the students. Exactly. Here what I'm sure, exactly 39%. Around 3/4 of the students. And sometimes we are using quantifiers. What the meaning of quantifiers? Like all of the students. Many of the students, some of the students, a few of the students. So we can refer to the percentage and the percent here and quantifiers. All of the students. All of the students here I'm referring to 100% and so on. Instead of using the percentages, we are just using quantifiers. Many, some, a few, all of them. Okay? So here we have finished the grammatical section related to theme 3. The most important point is to understand the difference between very and to and the use of the adjective. The television is very expensive. It means that it costs a lot of money. But too expensive, it means that I cannot buy it. I cannot afford it. Okay? And the difference between them two is related to my opinion or the opinion of the speaker about the amount. Too much, many, not enough. The difference between much and many. If you are referring to countable noun, you are using many. If you are referring to uncountable nouns, in this case, you are using much, and so on. And also, we studied the difference between too and enough. Too cold. What the meaning of too cold? More than the correct quantity. Too short. The trousers, the skirt is too short. This means that more than the correct quantity. And so on. You are putting a lot of examples, but not tall enough, less than the correct quantity. Where in the opinion of the speaker. Here, if you want to introduce a statement, you are using the introductory phrase, I think, I believe, we feel, we think, and so on, followed by that. The most important thing that we studied today is the first conditional if. you need to keep inside your mind that if clause, we are using the present simple, and in the main clause, we are going to use will or might plus the infinitive. What is the difference between will and might? Will, if you are certain. Might, it refers that the action is possible. And we can, of course, convert it and start with the main clause and then followed by the if clause. If you start with the if clause, the most important point is to add the comma here. If you convert them, there is no need for comma, like this. Children might become violent, no need for comma, if they see violence. But if I start with if children see violence, comma, they might become violent, okay? And then we are referring to pronouns, and that we are using them in order to refer back to something in the sentence, instead of repetition. Instead of saying they give their magazine, instead of saying magazine publishers give their magazine and then repeating it again, I'm just going to refer back to the subject by using the pronoun they. Okay? And then quantifiers and percentages. Approximately 80% of the students, all of the students here, I'm using quantifiers. Okay, my dear students?
Doctor, all this grammar for exam?
لا, for theme 3. For the exam, you are going to revise. If you want to revise, you need to revise this part here. From page, just let me check from your book here. From page 172,
yes.
173, 174, 175, 176.
Finally.
Until the top of the page, until here. So this theme 2, page 175.
Theme 2 and theme 1.
Theme 2 and theme 1, but and half of the page of
half page, yes. Theme 3.
Half of the page, yes, half of the page of page 173. Half of the page of 173, because with us pronouns and possessive adjectives, which I explained in the previous class, when I give you extra class, I explained this part actually. Yes. Okay. Until here. Page 177. Okay, my dear students, as you have quizzes and you are extremely busy and you need to focus on the quizzes and so on, we will stop here, inshallah, and I will send you email for extra class. I expect it to be Sunday from 6 to 8.
Okay, when is the quiz for us? It's 4 o'clock, right?
Again?
The quiz is for us 4 o'clock, right? Today?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
دكتور وقت extra class متى؟
نعم.
في extra class.
Just let me. Yes. I intend to give you extra class because we need to finish theme 3. Right?
So I have exam at Saturday.
Yeah, I have exam Saturday. سبت.
لا مش. I'm not going to give you a Saturday. I will give you on Sunday from 6 to 8.
محاضرة.
From 6 to 8 I will give you class إن شاء الله.
خلاص الحين دكتورة. ما في مشكلة الحين.
You don't want to.
يمديك تخليها السبت.
الحد أم السبت؟
السبت يوم السبت.
As you like.
الأحد.
في ناس بتقول عندها كويزات يوم
عندنا
أنا عندي اختبار نفس التوقيت 6-8.
نعم.
أنا عندي اختبار بUS 101 نفس التوقيت من 6-8.
طيب أنا أفضل الحد زي ما تحبوا، بس أنا أفضل الحد بالنسبة لي، لأنه يعني يوم السبت يعتبر إلى حد ما أجازة واللي كده، في ناس عندها امتحانات كمان، خلاص يعني ممكن ناخد الأحد.
الأحد أفضل
إن شاء الله.
خلاص الأحد أفضل. وكمان عشان ما احسش انه كل ما اشرح الناس تقول لي لا انا عندي كويز يا دكتوره انسحب، عندي كويز انسحب. طب هشرح لمين؟
يعني دكتوره الاحد في الليل يكون افضل يعني.
خلاص ماشي، من 6 ل 8 كويس. حتى انا كنت خلصت الجامعه، انا بروح يعني الجامعه هنا من مثلا من 11 الين 6. اوكي خلاص I will start with you. طيب على 6 وربع. It's okay at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8. اوكي.
طيب يا دكتورة في جروب المادة دي ولا لا يعني؟
في جروب، انتوا عاملين جروب. ايوه الستودنتس عاملين جروب، انا بعته على فكره، يعني انا عملت لكم فورورد لللينك لكل الستودنتس، فما عادش حد
في انت المحاضره اللي راحت حطيتي رقم نرسل له ما يرد علينا الرقم هذا.
لا مين اللي يرسل له ما يرد علينا؟ انا اذا كنت انا موجوده في نفس الجروب. المحاضره اللي فاتت متسجله والمحاضره اللي قبلها متسجله، بس ادخل على لينك SIS شوف. انا قلت دلوقتي انا بحطهم اوتوماتيك على طول عشان بس ما يبقاش في الستودنتس عندهم اي مشكله. انت تدخل على LMS خلاص. خليني اشوف انا اوريك دلوقتي منين اكزاكتلي. تدخل على LMS هتلاقي فيه دكتور سامح حاطط اللينك تبع الثيم المحاضره دكتوره شيماء المحاضره الاولى كذا، وحاطط لينك صح. انت لو ضغطت على نفس اللينك هتلاقي انا بنزل اوتوماتيك كل محاضراتي فيه. هو لينك واحد بحط فيه كل محاضراتي، جاست كليك اون ات هتلاقي كل المحاضرات اللي بشرحها متسجله ونازله على
ايوه انا عارف، بس انت في المحاضره اللي راحت حطيتي رقم قلت نرسل له يبعث لنا الرابط حق الجروب.
في جروبين ترى كمان مو بس جروب واحد بس. غريبه لان الحين ما دخلت.
لا كل محاضره اطلب الواتساب ما حد يعني يجاوب معي.
اعطيني رقمك.
ضيفوه. طيب ضيفوه، انا مش الادمن تبع الجروب على فكره، يعني انتوا حاطيني مش ادمن فانا مش.
طيب
انا مش الادمن على فكره في الجروب ده.
دكتورة we can leave
طيب
now.
you can leave خلاص.
Thank you
you are welcome. طيب لما حد يرسل لي يقول لي يا دكتور ضيفيني، طب انا اوريدي بعت اللينك تبع الجروب ده في الايميلات، لان انا ما اعرفش رقم مين الستودنت اللي باعت لي او مين اللي ما بعتليش يعني. فانا حطيت الجروب ده كله ارسلته ليكوا عبر الايميل اللي هو ال100 ستودنت اللي معايا، فبالتالي انت هتلاقي اللينك اوريدي مرسل لك على الايميل. فهمت اقصد ايه؟
هشيك انا دحين على الايميل.
ايوه شيك، يعني انت لما تشيك هتلاقيني انا بعت فورورد على اساس انه انا ما اعرفش مين الطالب اللي باعي. على فكره الجروب ممكن يكون فيه ناس مش تبعي في السكشن، فانا حبيت اعمله بشكل امن اني ارسله عن طريق الايميل، وبالتالي الطالب يدخل خلاص وما احتاجش بقى ضيف لي الرقم، طب ضيفيني، طب
اوكي
تمام. العفو. انا بشوف على فكره الواتس اللي بيوصلني، يعني بشوف ان الطلبه بتقول لي ضيفيني والكلام ده، بس اولا انا مش ادمن، وتاني حاجه انا تصرفت بطريقه انه ضفتكم عن طريق الايميل، او يعني بعت لكم اللينك وانتوا تدخلوا على
دكتوره.
اي اتفضل.
الاختبار ما نزل على MS، كيف نختبر؟
ما تقلقش اكيد
عربي اختبار عربي.
انت بتتكلم عن الاختبار العربي؟
لا
انجليزي. اعتقد هو بيضيفه قبلها بلحظه، يعني قبلها بحاجه بسيطه جدا.
قبل
انجليزي من 4 ل 7 يا دكتوره.
نعم
ايوه 4 بينزل.
ايوه ما تقلقش. بص يا نواف، لو في اي مشكله تتواصل على طول مع الBCC مسؤول الكورس اللي هو، بس هو غالبا على الوقت الميعاد بالظبط هتلاقيه اتضاف. نو وريز يعني ما تقلقش. حتى انا عندي كورس مختلف انا بضيفه، يعني انا بكون ضيفاه مفيش مشاكل، بس بظهره للطلبه قبلها ب5 دقائق كده يعني يظهر لهم، لكن بيكون احنا ظبطنا الكويز على السيستم وموجود وكل الاسئله موجوده، جاست ان احنا بنخليه ان هيدن. احنا دلوقتي سايبينه هيدن، يعني ما بنظهرهوش قبل الوقت مباشرة، بيتعمل له ان هيدن عشان يبان. بالظبط. فما تقلقش. خلاص بالتوفيق يا رب العالمين، وان شاء الله الامور ميسرة باذن الله.
يا دكتورة.
اتفضل.
الاختبار يسكر الساعة 7.
مش انا بعت لكم الايميل اللي فيه كل الديتيلز؟
صحيح، بس عشان نتأكد.
ايوه انا ذات نفسي نسيت يعني، ما عندي a lot of courses، فهو انا اللي فاكراه الاختبار 30 minutes صح يا أريج؟
Yes 30 minutes only.
30 minutes يعني 30 دقيقة فقط. انت معاك 30 دقيقة من وقت ما تبدأ امتحانك، فكل ستودنت يختلف عن الثاني.
نعم. السيستم متى يقفل؟ 6:30 صح؟
هو كان كاتب 5 بس I think انه عمل ابديت.
ايوه من 6 اخر وقت تدخل فيه لين 6:30. 6:30
هو
السيستم بيقفل.
هو عمل ابديت، يعني زود المسافه شويه للستودنتس.
ايوه
بحيث انت معاكي، انت اول ما تدخلي على النظام دخلتي دخلتي الساعه 4، يبقى خلص بالنسبه لك انت كاريج 4:30.
لا 10 دقائق نخلصها.
معاكي 30 دقيقه. طيب دخلتي 4:30 يبقى يخلص معاكي انت كاريج الساعه 5. فانت تقدر تدخل الامتحان من الساعه كام قلنا؟ 4 لين الساعه ما تتاخرش ابدا عن 6، صح؟ لانه بيقفل 6:30.
ايوه 6:30 بيقفل السيستم.
6:30 هيقفل. تمام كده، صح كده. تمام. الافضل ابدأوا بدري، بلاش نقعد لاخر لحظة.
يلا good luck see you.
دكتورة يعطيك العافية.
you.
الرابط حق شو اسمه الواتساب مو عندي في الإيميل، ورسلت لك في الإيميل إنه أبغى الرابط بس ما ردت علي.
لا ازاي ما ردتش؟ ما فيش عندي ولا ايميل ما ردش عليه ابدا، لا يمكن.
في الأوسط رسلت لك.
متأكدة انك رسلتي الي انا كايميلي فعلا؟
ايوه.
اسمك ايه؟
ديما.
بترسلوا لي عن طريق ايميلي ولا عن طريق LMS؟
لا في الإيميل، مو في موقع الجامعة، في الإيميل.
ما فيش حاجة يا ديما، انا بشيك دلوقتي ولا.
أو إذا في أحد عنده رابط الجروب ياخد رقمي، لأنه دورت كثير بس ما عندي ولا أحد من طلاب.
هو المشكلة ان انا كمان مش أدمن عشان اقدر اضيفك، يعني انا كمان.
طيب هأرجع أرسلك في الإيميل اليوم.
طب عادي يا دكتورة، مو مشكلة نكلم الطلاب يضيفوك.
نعم.
نكلم الطلاب يخلوك الأدمن الجروب.
مفيش مشكلة. انتوا عندكم جروبس كتيرة جدا، يعني انا.
عندنا جروبين، جروب خاص بالطلاب وجروب معك.
طيب انا عندي حل. انا هاخد نفس اللينك تاني ابقى ارسله ليكم كلكم as students. على فكرة انا لما بعت فكرتيني يا ديما، لما بعت الايميل ليكم كلكم اللي هو فيه اللينك، اوكي. رجع لي من حوالي 7 or 8 students، رجع لي ان الايميل تبعهم على LMS is not working، والايميل اللي انا ارسلته لهم ما وصلش طبعا، بس انا راسله ل 100 student 100. فلما يرجع لي من 8
شو اسمه